All right, guys, we're live. I am excited to invite to my show today Mr. Kyle Whissel, the biggest team leader out in San Diego. Is that right?
Probably, dude. We're up 40 plus agents right now, dude. It's getting crazy.
40.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is a
So,
lot.
I was looking at EXP numbers the other day, and it was like 3 years ago they had 1,500, and now they're up almost to 30,000.
Yeah.
Tell me about your team over the last maybe 2-3 years. Has it grown pretty similarly, or were you that big 2-3 years ago?
When we moved over, so I used to be an independent broker. When we moved over, I had about 25 agents, and now we're somewhere we just brought 4 new ones on this week. So we're running close to 50, I think, is what we're trending toward right now.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, and we're just gonna keep growing, man. We got a killer sales manager who's doing a great job teaching everybody, and we just had our best February in company history by a pretty healthy margin.
Congratulations.
Next, what we did last February. So
yeah,
pretty stoked right now, man.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's fun, man. So one of the things that I really push on my show is I want to bring value to realtors, right? Whether it's somebody who created a new app or it's mindset or it's whatever. But I actually had the absolute pleasure of meeting Kyle when we were down in Key West at an event. I don't know, what was that, 3-4 months ago?
Something like that, yeah.
And they had the most phenomenal big name speakers down there, just great thinkers. I mean, we weren't talking about how to get the listing. We were talking about how to take your 50-person team to a 200-person team, how to move from doing 100 transactions to doing 500 transactions. It was a completely different level of discussion down there. It had nothing to do with how to maintain a listing. But among all of those great thinkers, great speakers, you had, I just told you this, the most tangible, helpful, actually like pound the ground speech. And I thought, man, this is so, and it really intrigued me too, because I am a couple months away from building my team, right? I'm getting all set up and I want to get going too. So a lot of the stuff that you talked about there, I've got notes and I've been thinking about it too. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be great if I could have him on and just grill him one more time about all that great stuff that I got down there and share it with everybody.
For sure.
So, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, because anybody listening, if they grab a pen and a piece of paper, this is going to change your business, man.
Yeah, somebody was like, that was like a PhD in running a real estate business.
It was in like 60 to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Talker, man. You're like, do this and then this and then this. And it was like, wow, this is incredible. So tell me, when you've got 50, so I'm thinking, now I used to be in the Army. I was in the Army for 10 years. And the structure there is, it's very pyramid, right? I'm guessing that's not how your structure works. Tell me how your structure works within your team.
So I used to be an independent broker. And so most brokerages, and we would be more what they would have called a teamerage, which is like hybrid team and brokerage mixed together.
Yeah.
So I've always had agents who are my personal team. And then I've had agents that were part of the brokerage.
Yep.
Now that I'm no longer the broker, I'm just a giant team leader. Now I have my personal team agents and then what we would refer to as indie agents.
Yeah.
So the team agents, those are the ones that basically get everything, right? Open kimono, you get everything that we have to offer, which includes a lot of accountability, a lot of role play, and a lot of leads. And then we've got our independent agents who still plug into everything that we're doing. They still get all of our coaching and our training and use all of our office space and use our brand and everything else. They just, they're independent. They kind of do their own thing. So we're not on them every day getting on a huddle and getting on a role play call and all of that. And then they don't get leads. But typically those are more experienced agents that kind of run their own show, but like being plugged into the Whissel ecosystem.
Yeah, man, you've got a great system. So let's get into that system a little bit. I don't know where to start with all this. Maybe I'll ask you this. When you say, if you get on the team, you get everything, what is everything?
So I have this spreadsheet I built out, and there's 3 columns. So there's column 1 is like join EXP.
Yep.
Column 2 is join the independent side of Whissel. And then column 3 is join the team side of Whissel. And so we kind of progress people through like, all right, you get this, now you get all of it. And we progress them through it. So, some of the bigger things for the team agents, obviously leads is the big one. Having a sales manager on your ass every day. There's this up here. This is a big thing. No pressure, no diamonds.
Yeah.
my sales manager actually comes from a personal training background, but think about a personal trainer. Like if you don't have a personal trainer pushing you, in the right direction, like there's going to be days you're pissed off and you hate your personal trainer, but we all know that personal trainer is going to put pressure on us, and that pressure is going to create diamonds, which in that field is the body that you want, right? Or the feeling that you want. Well, you need that same level of pressure in real estate. A prime example of it would be we had 4 agents leave around January of last year.
Yeah.
And the year before those agents left, collectively they did 60-ish transactions. In the 12 months after leaving, they collectively did like 16 transactions.
Yeah.
So sometimes that pressure that pushes, that gets people frustrated in where they leave, because they're like, oh, you're so mean. You're always on us. You're getting on me every day. No doubt. Right?
I know.
You need that pressure. And some people don't realize how important that pressure is until they don't have it anymore. And they're like, oh, shit, my business is falling apart. So the sales manager, my guy Mike, has been amazing. He's been a huge asset to the team. He's been a big part of how we've had, growth of 3x just year over year, because we're bringing in talented people. And then he's just purely committed to helping to coach them. Because I used to try to do all the coaching myself, but I also like to produce. I'm the kind of leader I want to be leading from the front and going out there and doing deals, because I want to have my finger on the pulse. And I mean, it's a crazy ass market right now. Like I got to feel what's happening in the market. Like we got all this coronavirus stuff going on right now. The higher end, we're seeing, a lot of buyers pumping the brakes because their portfolio as of today is down like 40% So, I need to feel that. I need to experience it. I need to be a part of those conversations. But if I'm out doing that, it's hard for me to also coach the team at the same time. So having Mike in here has really helped out, because he's here day in, day out doing all of that.
So he does all the training. What else? What would you say the difference is between the interaction that you have with your agents and that he has with your agents?
Yeah. So there's a book, if you've never read it, it's called Traction. And it's by Gino Wickman. And in that, they teach something called the Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS. And the way that it works is, in any good organization, there has to be a visionary, and then there needs to be an implementer. Or an integrator. Sorry, there's got to be an integrator.
Yeah.
So I'm the visionary. I come up with the big picture and the vision for the company, and then Mike's job is to integrate that vision with the team. And so it's very, very important. It's hard to have one person do both of those. A lot of times visionaries are terrible integrators, and integrators are terrible visionaries. So it's really, really important to have somebody like that. And then I have an integrator on the operational side too, in Lisa. So I've got that sales integrator. I've got that operations integrator. It works out amazingly well.
And what's your rough ratio of, I'm calling them admin folks. I don't know if I can put them into that box, versus sales folks?
Yeah, we call them the glue, because they're literally the glue that holds us together.
I love that.
We'd be fucked without them. We are running currently about 5 to 1.
5 sales to 1 admin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds about right. So one big thing that I pulled away from you, and it's probably because it personally attracts me, is all the gamification that you implement. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So the thing is, if you've got to track everything that's happening in your business, and what you focus attention on is going to grow. It's going to expand. So you've got to be tracking what you're doing. But if you're just telling your agents, like, log how many calls you did, log this, log that, one, you got to have a system to log it in. But 2, you've got to give them a reason to log it. If you're just telling people like, oh, go log this, they're not going to do it unless there's a reason. There's got to be something in it for them. So as far as the system goes, we used to have our own stuff that was all built on Google Sheets and Google Forms, which works, and it's free. And there's something sexy about free, but it's not built to run a real estate organization. So you're having to make it work for running a real estate organization. There's another one out there called CTE, which is kind of like a step up. It's still relatively inexpensive. It's like $30-$40 a month, something like that. And it's a great system. It's very built out, but it's just Microsoft's version of Google Sheets, right? You're running on Excel online, which is just a big ass spreadsheet. So while CTE works, it gets the job done, it's just ugly. It's so ugly, and it's cumbersome, and you're just modifying a spreadsheet to show this stuff. So what we love, it's called Sisu, SISU.
Yes.
The system. It's amazing. It's built from the ground up with one purpose and one purpose only, which is helping you manage your real estate business. And so what we love about it is, one, it's very, very easy to use. It's got a desktop version. It's got an app version. The app version is very important. That way, 5 o'clock every day, the agent gets a notification on their phone. It's like, hey, Joe, log your numbers, and you just pop, and you just log, I did this many of this many of this.
Yeah.
You're done. So it makes it very easy for them, because the easier it is to complete, the more likely they are to complete it. So that part's great. And then we tie an outcome to the results of the activities that they complete.
Yes.
So that's where it becomes important, is that as they're going about doing their activities, so the different activities we have, I believe there's 9 different things that we're tracking right now. So we do a huddle every day at 8:15. That's typically via Zoom. Zoom 4 days a week, in the office 1 day a week. We role play on the phones at 8:30 every day. We prospect at 9 every day. We have an office meeting on Tuesdays at 11. We have in-person role play Wednesdays at 11. We do a coaching call with our Tom Ferry coach. We are looking for the agent to do 3 open houses a month. Actually, I guess it's 7 things that we're tracking. So those are the 7 things that we track from the agents. And then based upon the agents that complete all of those activities, we're running an agent on duty model with our lead.
Yes.
And so the agents that complete the most activities get to pick the best shifts. And
Dude,
so
this is brilliant.
Yeah, so I'll explain the agent on duty model. So the thing is, leads are coming in. There's 4 mistakes that I think a lot of us are making. Let's assume, literally right this second, right? You and I are here, we're doing this podcast, and a lead comes in. It's $1 million Zillow lead.
Yep.
Option 1, I could be a jerk to you, like, Joe, hold on, man. I got to grab this lead.
Yeah.
And like, I'm being a jerk to you, which is not cool. And the next part that's not cool is that I don't have a clue about this $1 million property that they're asking me about. Meanwhile, they probably researched that property for 20 or 30 minutes before they took the time to actually fill out that form or to call me. So they already know everything. I don't know shit about the property. Now I'm having a really uneducated conversation with them about it. My probability of converting that is low. And I see agents do it at restaurants all the time. And now you're in the restaurant, you're like, oh crap, I'm going to put this on
loud.
I'm going to try to pull this property up real quick. There's loud sound all around you. They hear it. Like, that's not going to work. So that's one of the other problems. Another problem that you have, some people are doing like a round robin type of thing. So the lead goes, you get 1 lead, then I get 1 lead, but I don't know when my lead's coming. You don't know when your lead's coming. So you're out on an appointment. That lead comes in. It sits there for 2 hours while you're at your appointment. You come back, then you follow up with it. But by that time, 5 other people have already called. So that doesn't work. A lot of people do the Shark Tank system where the lead comes in. First one to grab it gets it. So me and you are on this podcast. I see that $1 million lead come in. I'm like, I got this. I'll just grab it and I'll call it back when we finish up. Well, that's not going to work. I'm going to screw everybody else. Like, we're not going to convert it. I should have let somebody who was freed up take that lead. So that doesn't work either. So there's a lot of issues with it. The last one is I do what I'm supposed to do. I see the lead come in. I'm like, no, I'm on this podcast. I'm not going to grab it. Like, I'll let somebody else have it. Problem is, your good agents, they're in meetings all the time, right? They're constantly like, if you look at my schedule, I've got 5+ meetings every single day. A lot of times those are with buyers, with sellers. Like, I'm not going to get to answer those calls. Meanwhile, you got the girl here, or guy here at the office who's playing around on fucking Snapchat all day long. And they see that lead come in and they're over here like snapping, and all of a sudden a lead comes in like, oh, got it. Oh, got it. They get every single lead, but they can't convert to save their life. So now you're giving these leads, which might cost you $100, $200 to an agent that can't convert. So that's another problem. Meanwhile, your good agent who converts, they're out at appointments getting no leads and they're frustrated with you. So lots of problems with the way that most people are running their team. So there's really 2 solutions. One is running an ISA department. So building that out, crucial, because now you've got people dedicated in the office. They're answering every call as it comes in. They're following up on everything. They've got computer screens in front of them. They're prepared. Like, that's one option. Or the alternative, and the one that we've been running, is an agent on duty model. And so the way that works is there's shifts throughout the day. They're 3 to 4 hour shifts depending on the day. And so what happens is during your shift, It's kind of like the old school days where they had floor time, where somebody would, hang out at the front desk, and everybody who walked in or called in during that 3 or 4 hour time period, that was their lead. Same thing now. Now it's just a digital version of it. So now you still get the phone calls like you did back in the day, but now instead of somebody walking in, now they're walking into your Boomtown website, your KV Core website.
Yeah.
So now every lead that comes in during that shift goes to that one agent. And that agent's at the office. We're running these new like ultra wide 34-inch screens. So they're ready. Lead comes in, boom, they've got, everything pulled up in front of them. They've got an educated conversation. They're following up. Our rule is 1 ring, 1 minute. So that's the objective when you're on duty. Answer the call within 1 ring. If it's an online lead, you're following up within 1 minute. They're prepared. They don't have to pretend to call and call it later. They got nothing else to do. They're focused solely on that one thing, which is every lead, 1 ring, 1 minute. And then your good agents know for that 3 hours, I'm getting every damn lead that comes in.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about Snapchat guy or girl grabbing every lead.
So when I hear that, if I'm a little savvy, I'm thinking, hey, buddy, can I get the 8 o'clock? Because I'm guessing nobody's taking those leads overnight, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, the way we're running it is the shifts. There's 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., 11 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 8. And then anything that comes in after 8 goes to the morning shift.
So who gets the morning shift?
So the agents get to pick their shifts based on how many of those activities that we talked about, how well they ranked. So the top 4 agents get gold. So the shifts get released to them at like 12.
Yes.
And at 12:15, the silver agents, which is the next 4, get to pick. Then the next 4, right? So on and so forth. So the agents who do the best with their activities get the pick of the litter, which the morning shift is the best shift because you get those 3 hours, which you're typically in the office from 8 to 11 anyway.
Yeah.
So you're already going to be there and you get everything that came in overnight. So it's hands down the best shift. There's the shitty shifts like a Saturday 4 to 8 or a Sunday 4 to 8. That's not the most desirable shift. Although there's a decent amount of leads that come in during that time, but that's definitely the hardest one to get covered.
Interesting. So, oh man, I'm thinking so many things with that. Do your guys know as they're going throughout their week, do they know where they're at on this ranking system?
Yeah, Sisu, they can pull it up at any time and see exactly where they're at.
Okay. And then,
there's a really cool leaderboard where it shows like the top 3 up here and then everybody else and their scores. And like the way that you gamify this stuff too is it's not like you get 1 point for this, 1 point for this. It's 1,000 points for this, 1,000 points for that.
Yes.
You just gamify it. It's so stupid, but it works. It's way cooler to be like, I got 7,000 points this week.
Yeah, baby.
Same shit.
Mentality, yeah.
1,000, but it's funny how that gamification works.
So unless I missed it, those 7 things you went through, none of them had to do with sales. They all had to do with the action that goes into sales. Is that correct?
Yeah, we focus on the leading indicators because we know if you complete the leading indicators, the lagging indicators are naturally going to happen.
What I like about that is if you're a brand new agent and you're coming to Kyle's team, and as long as I'm willing to work my butt off, I can compete with whoever your top agent is.
For sure.
That's pretty amazing, man.
Absolutely.
I really
we have a minimum standard too. So if somebody's not producing, they're going to get pulled off the system.
Yeah.
So, and now this is something I think is important. Like depending on where you're listening to or watching this podcast from, it's going to vary. Like in what I've learned over the years is there's this bar, this $100,000 bar. I don't care what market you're in. That's the bar. That's the amount of money everybody wants to make. Now, New York City, maybe it's a little different, but outside of that, 100,000 is this bar. Yeah. So I have friends in Arizona. In order for them to make 100,000 there, they got to sell 2 to 3 houses a month. Here in San Diego, they got to sell 1 house a month. You go, I've got friends in, I talked to somebody in like Dayton, Ohio, they got to sell like 4 a month to make it. But that's the number. Like every high performing team, they'll be like, oh, how many does your average agent close? 4. How much does that make them? 100. How much does that make them? 90. How much does that make them? 110. Like they're all right there. There's this like, and there's going to be a lot of agents right there at that $100,000 bar. There's always going to be a few over and there's going to be some under, but that just is this imaginary thing that everybody wants to hit. So for us, that minimum standard is 1 a month and we look at it on a quarterly basis.
I like that.
So every quarter you should have 3 closed.
And if I miss that, what happens to me?
You go on probation, the first one, which does include getting pulled off the system. And then if it happens a second time, then you get cut.
That's pretty fair. So You had some great points, not only points, but systems when you were talking about your hiring process. Can you go over that?
Yeah. So if you don't have a join us page or a we're hiring page on your
Yeah.
website, like you're missing a huge opportunity. We have so many people that just end up in our funnel just because we have that on our page.
Really?
A ton of direct traffic, like people just going to whisselrealty.com. You better have a join our team page on there. So I think it all starts with that. So we just have, it's just a WordPress website. It's part of our Boomtown website. And we just put something on there where there's 2 videos, a video of me kind of like giving a vision, and then a video of my sales manager talking about his job and how he integrates my vision. And then we drive them to a system called Spark Hire, SPARK. And what Spark Hire is it's a one-way video interview. So Mike has 5 questions that he recorded on video. And when somebody goes on Spark Hire, they could do this interview at 4 a.m. They could do it at 4 p.m. It doesn't matter. They could do it at their leisure. So what this does is it eliminates the need for Mike and this agent to find a time that they can mutually meet at some place that's convenient for both. Like, that's a bitch.
Yeah.
Especially because this is kind of like the first time we're talking to these people. Or even if it's trying to find a time just in the calendar to get on a phone call or a Zoom, like that's hard for a lot of people. So Spark Hire, the questions are pre-recorded by Mike on video, and then the agent responds on video. So if they're on a computer, they'll use their webcam. If they're on their phone, they'll download an app. And so it'll be like, whatever, Joe, tell me about yourself. And you'll record your response on video. And you'll go through the 5 questions. And when you're done, it'll submit that interview to Mike. And then here's the next cool part. Mike can now watch that interview at 4 p.m. He could watch it at 4 8. He could watch it at his leisure. So we eliminate this stress point of trying to find out where can we all be at the same time and same place.
Perfect.
Like, that's tough. We're busy people. We don't have that. And then him and I, we can collaborate on the responses too. So an interview comes in and we can rate it 1 to 5, and we can write comments like, I like him, I don't like her. And, you know, this girl's great and that guy's not great. And here's why. Like, so it's collaborative too. So that's step 1, is they come in through our landing page and do a Spark Hire interview. Step 2 is we invite them to an office meeting. A lot of different reasons for that. 1, I want to see, can they show up to something on time?
Yeah.
If they're late, we have a policy in our office, a optional policy. Very important. This is optional. Every minute you are late, you have either 1 optional burpee or 10 optional push-ups.
I love that.
You are 10 minutes late, you have the option to do 10 burpees or 100 push-ups. So I want to see, do they show up on time? I want to see, what are they wearing? Do they dress professionally? I want to see how they act when they come in. Do they come sit in the corner and play on their phone, or do they come in the room and introduce themselves to people? And then during the meeting, I want to see how they act during the meeting. We'll have a little session at the beginning. Hey, everybody introduce yourself. Tell us something fun about you. I want to see, do they have a personality?
Yeah.
I got a girl, tell us something fun about you. I'm from Michigan. The fuck? Like, I said, like, we had a girl recently who looked like a very conservative girl.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm into goth. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, didn't expect that from somebody like you. All right, cool. Like, I like that. She opened up. Well, that's something that's truly interesting. So I'm looking at that. And then I'm looking at, what do they do when the meeting's over? And also, sorry, one more before it's over. Are they on their phone during the meeting? Like, we have a pretty strict no phone policy. During our meetings. If you do, it gives me the right to throw stuff at you. So I'll throw like Nerf balls and stuff at people.
Yes.
I had this like crazy Nerf gun they got me, but it started hurting people. So they took it.
Yeah, but EXP's got health insurance, don't they?
Right. So I want to see, like, are they engaged or are they fucking around on their phone the whole time? Because that's disrespectful to me. Like, if I can take an hour out of my day and not be on my phone, you can do it. I promise you, you can do it.
Yes.
And then lastly, I want to see how they act after the meeting. Do they jet out the second the meeting's over, or do they hang out, talk to a few people, and socialize? And I mean, ideally, I would be grabbing 3 or 4 random people and be like, hey, tell me, how is it working here? How is Kyle? How is Mike? How is EXP? Like, I would randomly grab people and ask questions, because that's showing that you have genuine curiosity. So that's step 2. Step 3 is an in-person interview with Mike and our executive assistant to the team, Aaron. So they sit down, they do an interview with the person, and we have Mike and Aaron. Mike, if you've never met him, I think he's like 6'1", maybe 6'2", 250 plus pounds of like muscle, shaved head, goatee. Like he can be a little intimidating to people.
Yeah.
So we like to have a softer side there with him, and the way he reads somebody and the way she reads somebody might be a little different. So it's nice to get a couple different perspectives and opinions on that. So that's the next interview. And then the last interview is what we call an expectations interview. And that's one where we just lay all the cards on the table up front. So Joe, should we have an issue, how honest do you want me to be with you? 10, they say 1 out of 10, 10 every time. What does it mean to you?
Yep.
And then you get a little more clarity. Okay, great. Then I tell them, here's how honest I want you to be with me. Here's how to approach me. Then it's like, how do I win with you? How do I lose with you? Here's how you win with me. Here's how you win with me. Like, let's put all the cards on the table. Like, let's not leave anything open to question, right? So let's get that done. And then we go over, we make sure they understand everything they're going to get by being a part of our team or our indie model.
Yeah.
We go over what our expectations are. Very important. If you're running a real estate team, the word required or requirement does not exist. Get rid of it. So we go over what the expectations are from them. So we go over the huddles, the role play calls and power hours and all of that stuff. So we make sure that they understand the expectations from them. And then we sign an agreement at that point. So it's a multi-step process, but that's really ensuring we're getting the right people on the right seats on the bus.
Yeah. It's a tough process, man. It's really tough. And people now are so good at coming in and really shining for 10, 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So, man, that's a really, I've never heard of anybody at the real estate team level who has a process quite like that. That's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah.
So
the part that's important too, we'll touch on, is once you hire and like, then what? We've tried to use a system to onboard people. I mean, there's a million of them out there, Teachable, Trainual. We were using one called Adaptive U. And you build out all these learning modules and stuff. We're like, all right, Joe, welcome to the team. Here's your first 8 weeks. Go. Like, that doesn't work. People need hands-on in the beginning.
Yes.
So like, we're running a boot camp right now. So Mike does the first week they start 5 days in office, 5 hours a day. Because you've got to hold people's hand through the process.
That's awesome.
You can't just be like, go on here and do all these 400 things. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that you need to do with them. So it starts with the very basic stuff, like let's set up your email signature. Let's change your Facebook profile and tell people you're actually a realtor. Like, we start with the very basic.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, they're prospecting on Mojo on a triple line dialer. So we get them from like super, super basic all the way to very advanced in that 5-day period. But then we can push them to the system at that point.
Yes.
But they need that hands-on in the beginning.
So the system that you use to do the gamification, the tracking, all that is Sisu.
Correct.
Is that also your CRM?
No, Sisu is just tracking all the like how many conversations, how many dials, like the ratios on all that stuff.
Okay.
We're tracking all of our transactions in there, so we know exactly how many we've closed, how many we have pending, what's our GCI, what's our company dollar,
Do I enter that, or is that pulled from something?
So the agents input all of the data essentially into the system. So they're inputting their activities on a daily basis. And then when they have new transactions, they input them in there as well. So you build a form with the info you want. And so when the agent has a new transaction, they fill out the form and then send that to the TC along with the contract. And then the TC starts working on it. And the TCs won't touch the file until that form is complete and they receive the contract.
So I don't know if this is an appropriate question or not. You might not want to share this, but what is your favorite? Like, do you have a zinger question that you ask on this interview? These 5 questions you ask them?
I don't even do the interviews anymore, to be honest with you.
Really?
Mike does everything. Yeah, he really likes the tell me about a time questions. Tell me, like, because he's going through, and we do a disc profile in there as well.
Yes.
And I don't remember if we talked about this at the event, but there's a system I'm in love with right now. Some cokehead came up with it. It's called Crystal Knows. CRYSTAL,
Yeah.
crystal knows. So clearly somebody who likes cocaine came up with it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing system. I mean, if Coke helps you come up with these systems, then cool with me.
Whatever. Thanks, bud.
Yeah. So what happens is you go on and you fill out your disc profile. I've already filled my disc profile out. And this is where the magic happens. It helps understand how do these two disc profiles mesh together.
Yeah.
And so I could go in and say, hey, I'm meeting with Joe in person and I need to give him negative feedback. And it will tell me, here's the posture to use. Here's the words to say. Here's the words to not say. Like, it literally tells you how to have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
Now, Mike and I are both DIs or IDs.
Yep.
Like, we get along naturally, right? We don't need a lot of coaching. But when he or I sit down with like a high S or a high C, we struggle with that sometimes. Yep. That can actually be harder. I actually struggle with high I's now. So I'm better with the C's. The I's and S's is where I struggle, and he struggles with the S's and the C's. So now when I'm meeting with somebody, I can go in there and I can see like, oh, have a relaxed posture. Avoid putting pressure on them. Like, I can learn all that. So it helps me be a better leader and have a more effective dialogue with somebody. So that part's huge. And so the thing that I like to do is, as I go through that disc profile too, because I have learned that people will bullshit their disc profile because they do the disc based on what they think you want, not what they really are. So we'll do a disc up front. And then once they're hired, we'll have them redo it because it's different after they've been hired, because then they'll be honest. But that one up front, I'll pull a couple things out of there and I'll say, you know, according to the assessment, it says this. Would you agree or disagree? But yeah, I agree. Cool. Tell me. And then I use the same thing like Mike does. Tell me an example of where this has occurred in your life. Because then Keller Williams used to teach a class called Recruit Select that I learned this in. And it's called validating the disc. Like, validate that the disc you have is actually the disc you're talking to.
Yeah.
And so you just ask them, would you agree or disagree with this? And then tell me an example, or tell me about a time in your life where something like that occurred. And if they can't, that's obviously false.
So how often do you see that the discs, like the results you're getting, are inaccurate?
More than half the time.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's always trying to test what they think.
Yeah.
You know, what they think you're looking for. But I mean, I've interviewed so many damn people. I could tell you somebody's disc profile within a matter of seconds now.
Yeah. What am I?
ID.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even close. Yeah. So I don't remember who was it. Boomtown. Somebody rated you the #1 real estate agent when it came to social media. Is that right?
Video. Yeah.
Video.
Is the #1 video influencer in North America.
Yeah.
Rad.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And that is really something that, you know, video is huge. And I think everybody knows it now. It's not a secret anymore, but it's really, you know, people are starting to pick up on it. But with all these extroverts in real estate, it surprises me that more people don't do it. But let me ask you this. So you are the you are the social media stud in real estate. What 1 or 2 tips would you give somebody who's been in 3, 4, 5 years and they're just, you know, they're doing 20, 30, 40 deals a year. They're an average agent, but they're not doing a lick of social media. What are the 1 or 2 good tips that you would give them?
Delete your business pages, #1. So if you have, everybody I talk to has at least 1 business page. If you have a business page and you're not using it, that's like having a shop with the doors chained shut and dust everywhere. Like, it actually does more harm than good to have a business page you don't use. 95% of agents don't need a business page. Like, there's no reason for you to have a business page unless you plan to run ads consistently on it. Outside, and it's so much harder to get traction on a business page. Like, you have to run ads to get, you know, Facebook to show your business page to anybody. Yep. So if you're not going to be running ads, delete your business page. Just post that shit on your personal profile. That same thing, Facebook and Instagram. And like, why do you want to have to bounce back and forth between 2 things? Like, the Facebook Pages Manager on an iPhone is shit. It's a terrible app.
Yeah.
You don't want to be bouncing back and forth between the 2. Just roll with your personal profile. That would be, because like, that's the foundation. Before we even post anything, let's make sure we're set up for success. Let's not try to post in 2 different places. It's personal profile. Everything goes there.
Yeah.
The second is be consistent. So if you're like, obviously I love video, going live once a week on video. And the thing is, like, people always ask, like, what camera, what lens, what microphone, what editing software, like all this shit that doesn't matter. Like this iPhone, this is all you need.
Magical.
Like, you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Like, just grab this bad boy, hold it up, and just start shooting. Like, you don't need anything else, because the camera's not going to make your content better. Like, if your content sucks, nobody's going to watch it anyway. Yep. So don't go spend 5 or 10 grand on equipment and a professional videographer. Just come up with fun content. So I would have something I'm doing on a weekly basis. My sales manager has done something pretty cool where he just sits around the fire pit once a week and goes over like a different market and just updates people what's happening in that market. That's cool. I like to go and interview cool businesses. So we go around and we interview restaurants and just talk to the owner of the restaurant, pop back in the kitchen and show some of the food and stuff that's going on. Like, just shoot a video once a week, but do it consistently. Like our first show, we do a lot of business in a community called Santee, which is the eastern part of San Diego County. And we just did a show called Santee Saturdays. So every Saturday we shot a video of some business within the Santee community. So just do whatever you do it consistently on social. Don't post on social when you feel like it. Just make it consistent. I do this every Friday. Just start with something like that. And then you can start to build on that over time, but that's where I would start.
Can you do too much social media?
It's hard to.
Yeah.
Hard. If you think you're doing too much, look at like my boy Kenny Fast up in the Bay Area. On Instagram at any given time, he's got like 50 tiles. It's insane.
Really?
I have days where I'm like, oh my God, I got like 10 or 12 tiles on Insta. And then I go to Kenny's page, he's like 50 every day.
Yeah. What a machine.
Stories are cool, right? Like that's almost expected. Stories, you could do 50 in a day.
Yes.
If you did 50 actual feed posts on Insta, that would be too much.
Man.
So if you're super active, stories are great.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so last question.
Yeah.
I'm starting my team. I'm prepping everything. I'm getting it. And I'm going to go back in this video and all the notes that I took with you. You've been by far the most helpful, tangible person that I've come in contact with. So thank you so much. Yeah, if there was one tip that you would give me personally in coming up with this team, what would it be?
Don't get too big too quick. So like you're talking to me and I have 40 plus people on my team. Don't go build a 40-person team. Just because somebody else has a big team on stage doesn't mean that's right for you. You should grow out of necessity. And necessity is not that I need money. Necessity is I have more business than I can handle.
Yes.
I see people hire way too many agents way too quick when they don't need them, nor do they have the infrastructure to manage them.
Yeah.
And it all falls apart. And then, you know, they're like, they get up to like 5 agents and they're not making any money. So then they hire like 5 more. And before you know, they have like 20 agents and like 18 of them don't sell a house.
Yep.
Like that's fucked up. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So, grow
slow. Point.
Okay. Grow slow. Like we're at a point now where we've hit kind of velocity. We can grow crazy fast because we have so many systems and stuff in place. Yes. Exactly how everything runs. So bringing on 4 people in a week, we can handle that. For most people, that would completely break you.
Yeah.
So make sure you have the systems and the infrastructure in place before you try to grow like crazy. And don't just assume because somebody else has this many people that you need to have that many people. Also, don't assume they're actually making money.
Yeah. That's a great point.
A lot of team leaders who publicly they'll get on stage and talk about how amazing their business is, and privately they lost $500,000 last year. Yeah.
Those are great points, man. And for me, really, my big passion is taking people who, like you said, you had those, what was it, 3 or 4 agents who were doing 60 and now they're doing 16. I want to take people doing 16 and get them to do 60. And I know how to do the sales and as an individual agent, but really, and I see it, man. I see that I need all the systems in place before I get them there. And I have the desire to blow them away. I don't just want them so I can make a little bit of money off them. I want to blow them away with amazing structure and service and expectations. And so I think that's a pretty awesome point that you make, man. And I'm going to steal everything you're giving me. I can't say thank you enough, man. You've got some great stuff here. Great information for anybody looking to build a team. And I don't know. I can't say thank you enough. These guys want to go find you. Where do they find you on social media?
Yeah, best place to follow me is on Instagram. My Facebook's been full for years. So if you want to stay connected, hit me up on Instagram at Kyle Whissel. And a tip, if you're on Instagram and you're a realtor, make your name your freaking username on Instagram. Don't be Kitty69. Like, you're a fucking grown up. You're a professional. Make your Instagram name your real name. Just make it easy for people to find you. Don't hide from them on there. And then if you want to stay connected with all the stuff we're doing, you could join our Facebook group, which we've got over 4,000 members. We share a lot in there. You can subscribe to our podcast, our YouTube channel, find out about upcoming events. We do a 2-day event called Media Mayor Mastermind, where we share everything we've learned over the last 5 years of cranking out thousands of videos and condense it into a 2-day class. So just go to thewhisselway.com, thewhisselway.com, and it'll connect you to all those: Facebook, the YouTube channel, the podcast, and our upcoming events. So that's the best way to stay connected.
That's amazing. Well, I appreciate it again. Thank you so much, my friend. If there's ever anything I can do for you, just reach out. But thank you.
Sounds good, bro.
All right. You guys stay fired up. Thanks for watching.